going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that's Let's Talk Football. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what day it is. Hump Day! And I'm here with my guy, Mr. Dub K, from the hottest place in America, South Carolina, Will Creamer. What up, Will?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, football's back. We're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying life.
We're in the thick of it. Johnny Dean gets the first comment.
What's going on, Johnny?
It was very insightful.
Yeah. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? For those of you that don't know, welcome to Washington Football Weekly. We are here, your local commanders, fans, reporters, analysts, whatever you want to call it. We're diving into this sport.
Fanatics.
Love. Yeah. It is therapy for us. So we're doing this just as much for us as we are for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Hey, speaking of fanatics.
Yeah, talk to me.
Something arrived in the mail yesterday.
Uh-oh.
You know how you did this you showed your little shirt?
Oh, yeah.
I got a little something for the head here to put on at some point. I'm waiting. I might wait till week one, but something arrived.
Okay. Oh, I like that. I can't wait. But we'll keep it on the hush till everything is cool.
Mm-hmm. As the wife doesn't know.
Right. If she finds out, we'll say it's a gift. It was a gift.
Right. I didn't buy it. I don't know. That's weird. How'd that get here?
Right. Like, I don't know. But I guess I have to wear it now.
Hey.
How I feel about the shirt. Let's get into it. What's up, people? What's up, guys? How you doing? Cameron, what's going on? Brandon. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a jam-packed show for you today. As you know, we're going to dive into, obviously, this first preseason game where we were unsuccessful against the Carolina Panthers. But we had some very, very bright moments.
Oh, jeez.
Let's go. But we got guests coming on to talk about the experience at the game. We're going to talk about the fight song and all that was debuted again and kind of at the game and our thoughts on that. But we also are going to preview next on Saturday's game. We got another special guest that's going to talk about his team, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm so excited. We have so much for you. And Will, man, let's don't beat around the bush. Let's talk about it. They know what they're here for. Preseason week 1, Washington came up just short, 23-21 on a last-second field goal to Carolina. And Will, I'm going to tell you, I know it was just preseason. I know this was just the first in many, 3 games, and then obviously into the regular season. And to many, it does not mean much. But I was excited. I liked what we brought because not just because my guy, who we will talk about later, but I liked what we brought because there were certain situations that I might have, frustrated me, which we'll bring up, but then other people stepped up. You know what I mean? I got what I wanted from the first team. I got what I wanted. So talk to me. What were your thoughts after the game? Does it matter that we lost the game? Like, where were you after that?
Well, does it matter that we lost the game? No. Not one bit. And I honestly, when I sent you and Mark, our guests from last week, me singing Hail to the Redskins, I honestly thought the game was over. So I didn't watch the game-winning field goal for Carolina. We scored the touchdown. I was like, oh, that's fun. That's awesome. That's exciting. Okay, I'm leaving. Yeah, I was like, this is over. And I was like, and I was wrong. So, there were some good things. They fought hard. They came back. They were listening to the Doc Walker in the booth. He was inspiring them, I think, to keep playing so hard.
And we're going to bring this up a little bit later, but I do want to ask you about this because I think we had differing opinions on how Doc Walker called the game. What were your initial thoughts? And I'll tell you where I stood.
So I actually didn't get it. I got the Carolina Panther local one.
Yeah.
Living here in South Carolina. So I didn't get to hear it until there was a replay the next morning. I was up at 5:30 a.m. on Sunday. My kid was up. And so they were showing it on NFL Network. So I got a chance to hear his fourth quarter. So his fourth quarter to me was exciting. All right. And I heard I was listening to the Kevin Sheehan show and they were praising him. Yeah. And but I'm with you. Doc doesn't do it for me a whole lot. I think he's better on the sidelines.
Yes.
But I defer to you and Ab and what you listen to and your thoughts. I probably am more in line with you all.
I will, and when we bring Ab on later, I will have him share his thoughts, because him and I felt like we're kind of on the same page. Listen, what you heard in the fourth quarter was when he kind of came back to life and was like, yeah, all right, now we're getting back into the game. But bro, when we were down, because ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, we got down at one point, I think it was 20-6, and it wasn't looking great. I mean, again, preseason, so how much can you really put into it? But he was out here on all the calls, like every single play was life or death. Like, they are playing football. This is not what I want to see. Like, coming out at halftime, mind you, it's what, 10-6? Like, it's nothing. We're really not that far behind. And he's talking about, we lost that first half. They came and they served us. They kicked dirt in our eyes and they kicked us while we were down.
So dramatic.
I need to come in this second half and they need to show me something. And so every single play that we had on the drive on offense, he's like, somebody needs to step up. Somebody needs to be the hero right now to show me what's going on. And then on defense, he was like, we're letting them get, that's too much. That's too much. And shout out to Albert. Albert's like, that was, it was 3 yards. But that's three yards too many. And I'm like, bro. Now look, for an old player, somebody like that's a coach, that's hard-nosed, grit, I'm with that. Let's go. Let's go. But at a certain point, it's like, man, come on. Look, I know the game just like you know the game.
Yeah.
This ain't it. Like, this ain't the Super Bowl, man. This is the first preseason game. You don't need to get – I respect that you're excited about the game being back, but this is too much, all right?
Yeah, no kidding. That is too much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Mr.
Moral support himself, Anton Benson. What up, Anton? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, buddy. But yeah, so people in the comments, let us know how y'all felt about the game and whatnot. And we're going to kind of break this down because there were positives, there were negatives. But let's go ahead and start with some positives. Will, what were some things that you liked? What are some things that you feel we can build on? Where you at?
So some of my positives. First one, I love the helmets.
Yeah. First
game, we got to see them. I thought they looked sharp. I really like those helmets. So that was my first one I saw. I was like, all right, I'm on board. The W's growing on me more and more. And I was like, hey, I thought it looked sharp. I actually thought that, I was feeling down when they unveiled the helmets that it was just one gold stripe. I really wanted to have some white contrast in there like the Redskin helmets were. And then I saw like the Raiders helmets look the same. Just they're very similar. There's a couple other teams that seems to be the style these days. It's just one solid color going through. So I kind of got over it, and I thought they looked good. I really liked our third possession after having we started off cold, then we had the big fumble, then we were able to put a drive together, and it was very methodical. They really they dinked and dunked down the field. And so I thought that was good. That was a good response by the offense. And I think they had to go out there and do that before you could let Carson sit and let some of these guys sit, is you had to show, hey, you need to get some meaningful reps in because you just had 5 reps that were not good. So I was really glad to see that. I was actually, the other thing I was really happy about was just simply to be playing an opponent. And seeing the difference between what training camp is like and when you actually have to bring someone to the ground. Listen to the Panthers broadcast. They got Steve Smith and some guy doing it. Man, they were furious about the missed tackles by the Panthers and how Brian Robinson was breaking arm tackle and all this stuff. And it's like, that's the stuff that you can't see in training camp when they're not bringing guys to the ground, where they, the minute the DB's there and gives them a little bump, they let up and stop. Well, look what happens. There's more to it. And we see that all the time, in the games where guys break tackles, guys, get around players you thought was going to, he's down. So that was good to see. You just got to see some more live play. So those are some of my positives I really like seeing out there. What about you?
Some of mine more overall, shout out to Anton saying, love you guys, miss joining the crew. Oh, yeah. Hey, that green light's always there, my friend. Some of the things that I liked, number one of the things that we talked about when things weren't that great last year, one of the things we can lean on was that we would win in that 4-game win streak. We won the time of possession battle. We did that again, and again, it's the whole grand scheme of the whole team outlook. But we won that, which means we're controlling the clock. we're keeping the ball, keeping our defense off the field, getting a breather. I love that going into the season. That's something that I really I want us to focus on. Another thing, we didn't necessarily win the battle of third downs, but we looked good. We were 8 of 14. You know what I mean? We're coming from a time last year, we were struggled to get a third down, and you know what I mean? And we needed, some of those things are huge for us that we weren't able to accomplish. So being 8 of 14 on your first, like you talk about going up against the first actual real opponent that's not you, that like one of the things Doc Walker said is this is good because they don't give a crap about you. And they want to kick dust in your face and all this stuff. But it's the truth though. Like don't, it is another team. They're not caring. Kendall Fuller might pull up on if he might get a good hit on McLaurin because he doesn't want to hurt the prize possession. Yes. But the other team, we're not worried about that. So I thought that was huge. And then we won the first down battle. We had 23 first downs in that game. Now a lot of it came. There was some in the beginning where, we got a couple on the first team, but a lot of it came obviously with my
superstar,
guy that we're going to talk, pay this man. All right. Give him a big max deal right now. All right.
Oh, God.
I see having my guy. Let's go. But I mean, honestly, that was something. Having 23 first downs, that means we're running the ball, we're passing it, we're moving the ball down the field. And look, I don't know about you, Will, but compared to those first couple series of a year ago, if you can remember the first preseason game, we actually looked like we were with it. It took us to the third drive with the first team, but still that first play of the third drive, right to McLaurin, boom, puts the ball down, goes back to him and looks right at Carson like, got you. And it was like, okay, click. Brian Robinson came in and started just doing first run was like 8 yards. Second run was like 6. I think at one point when he was first getting in there, he was like 7 yards a carry. Like he was balling out. And that is what I like to see. We know what we're going to talk about in the negatives, but the positives, hey, we're moving. We're moving. Somebody's not here. Our tight end group, we're moving. Right. We talked about some of the people that showed up, but I mean, I was excited because I know this is preseason, but we looked better. We looked like, okay, I can get behind this. Like we can do some things. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree. Our preseason last year was terrible. There was all kinds of thoughts. We just had to keep saying, oh, don't worry about Fitz. It's preseason. Don't worry about it. No, we look bad.
Yeah.
So you're right. There was already some better drives this year, especially that third possession of the game. That was much better. And I saw, not only to your boy, but also with Carson, I saw some zip on the ball. It's been some years since we've seen some zip. And, Carson made a couple throws out there that I was like, oh, we got a quarterback with an arm. He can throw it across the field. Okay, this is nice. You can do a lot more. So, and we'll get into a little bit more with Carson, so I don't want to spoil much. But, yeah, I thought it was good to see.
I was excited. I was a little bummed that it took a little longer. And obviously one of the negatives that we're going to talk about is a reasoning why. But, that third drive is what I wanted. The first drive is what I talked about on the last show, is where it was to the point. Let's boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Up, moving straight down the field. We had momentum. We gave the defense a good breather. Now we're talking about playing complementary football. And that's something that was all about. But with every positive, ladies and gentlemen, there's also a negative. And I'm going to go ahead and start with this, Will. From a running back's perspective, I have said this time in, time out, year after year. If you cannot hold on to the ball, you will not have a job in the league. In the league and college and high school and Pop Warner. If you have to hold on to the ball, period. That's just what it is. And we know the problems that Antonio Gibson has for us last year. They benched him, and it looks like they did it real early. Second drive into the game, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, he's going down. Looks like he should be down, reaching for an extra 1 yard when he really didn't get much. Certain times you just got to say, hey, plays that dead, 2 hands on the ball and go down. Knocks the ball out right in there, right in our red zone. So they immediately, Sam Darnold goes up and scores, and we're immediately down 10-0. And that's the type of stuff. We go back to the first game we had last year against the Chargers. We were up in that game. We should have won that game, but same situation. Deep in our side of the field, he fumbles the ball. They score a touchdown, and they don't look back. So this is something that we need to fix. Whether we push him out as, give him more, where we're both having them run, like give them more time to relax. I don't think this is a coach. I think this is him. I think this is in his head right now, because when it's happening this early in the season, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Like, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, being a running back. Maybe he's just not with it. Maybe something. This is the first preseason game. This is the number one thing that you need to be focused on, holding on to that ball. Look, and as we've seen, just like with Sam Mills, we talked about him a week ago, things not working, boom, there's the door. I'm not saying we need to kick him out of the team or anything like that, but Gibby, you saw what happened last year. They benched you. They were really quick this year to put him out, and they said, oh, we got that third-round pick. Brian Robinson, let's come on in here. And we saw what happened. The rest is kind of history right now. So, that's where I'm going to start with my negatives. I mean, what do you thoughts on that, and where are you at?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And Ron talked about it afterwards. You're starting to hear some frustration. And one of the things he said was when he dances, he gets into trouble. Where if he just runs, hits the hole, finds a hole, makes a decision, he gets much more successful. And that's what you saw Brian Robinson do a little bit more, was he didn't hesitate. He just took it and ran with it. And Gibson got in trouble on that play when he was hesitant and he started, kicking his feet around, and he went nowhere. And like you said, he fought for extra yardage that really wasn't there, and the ball got punched out. So Ron's frustrated. He said something this week when he said, the job is up for grabs right now. Okay. And what that says to me, and I actually go back to last year, we didn't realize this, but in the spring, Ron Rivera said, we have a quarterback competition. And the reason why he said that was Fitzpatrick was not good in the spring, and Ron got ticked. And so that's why he said, no, fine, we're having a competition. Heineke has a chance at this because Fitzpatrick was struggling to learn the offense, and it continued throughout the summer. And I think that's what you're seeing. If he's going to talk publicly like that, it's because he's being serious, that he wants to see better play, better improvement. And if Gibson can't do it, thank goodness we've got someone waiting in the wings that can. We talked about how frustrated we were during the draft in the second and third rounds at times when, there were some players available. Ab's guy, Nakobe Dean, was available, and we passed twice and got, a running back. Well, I wish we would have gotten him, seeing him play a little bit against Philly. But it's so glad that we've got someone now to come in and spell Gibson, to kind of let him know. I'll be honest, I feel awful for Gibson. He was down afterwards. The players were having to kind of try and pick him up. Leno was over there talking to him. Carson was talking to him because he knows it. He knows he can't make the mistakes. And to show what they're doing, they got him now on punt protection, catching punts now. He was on kickoff a specialist today. Now, some of that kind of bothers me because I'm like, if you got to put him here, why did we not sign DeAndre Carter then? They said Ron's so pissed off right now with our kickoffs, why did we not re-sign DeAndre Carter then, Ron? You made that decision. But Gibson did do that in college, so maybe he can do something. So obviously Gibson was the one big negative. The other negative I had was our defense in the first couple drives. That first drive, Baker Mayfield drove right down the field on us.
He really did.
And it was the same problem we had last year. Third down, we couldn't stop him. Yeah. So that bothered me, that all these problems we had in the offseason, nothing changed. So those are kind of my two big takeaways: the fumble and then defense.
Yeah, that was frustrating. And I remember at one point, when we finally did stop him, he actually had time. Because the one thing I did like is that we were getting a little bit of pressure, Wise, Evan Wise from high school. Very big difference in size. But Wise definitely played up. There's one that you see where Jonathan Allen takes his guy all the way back into the quarterback, but he still is able to get the pass off and throw the ball. So there was positives, but you're like you said, like he just went right down the field on us. He literally just went right down the field. And the one time that we actually didn't get pressure and we gave him time, he threw an absolute duck to nobody. Talk about Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? So we were helping him more, if anything, than he was helping himself. And then obviously when Darnold came in and got the short field, and we're down 10 quickly.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That was something that like you said, like that was frustrating to me. What also was frustrating to me was kind of in like the repeat of last year, that whole stint after Wentz went out and before the great one, Sam Howell, came in.
Superstar.
Yeah. Heineke was in there. And it was a lot of the same as last year. Like it was like, oh, okay, well, oh, okay, I like that pass. Oh, here it goes again. Oh, okay, he can run and make that. I think the first play he scrambled out and then made 4 or 5 yards. And I remember Doc Walker was saying, see, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. He improvised, he makes something out of nothing. And it was like, but it was, I mean, he blew up, like he messed up the play. Like, I mean, so that it frustrated me because, and look, I don't want to sound like a homer. And once you hear what we're going to say later, you're going to think I'm sounding like a homer. But talk about a QB competition. There might need to be one between 2 and 3. And the reason why I'm saying that is we know the bar. Ab was talking to us about that last year. We know the bar. We know as far as Heineke can throw, we know what he's going to give us. He'll give us, a shot in the arm and boom, hey, we're getting excited. We're pumped up. But he has limitations. And they showed. And it wasn't, you're not playing against the ones. You know what I'm saying? You're playing against twos, and you look subpar. And I don't know. I guess I really wanted to see some improvement. I wanted to see Wentz's solid number 1. He did that with 10-13. But then I wanted to see, Heineke come in there and do something and maybe score. Maybe that's what's really kind of bothering me is that I thought he should have been able to produce and score. But it just really didn't. Like he was 4 of 9 for 21 yards and a pick. It frustrated me because it's like, all right, how long are we gonna give this guy? Like, how long are we gonna give this as our now number 2 when we've already picked up who we've seen could be the future?
Well, you wanted to see him show that he's a capable backup, and he didn't do a whole lot. I know. I sat here watching this, and when you saw Carson throw, and then. What was it? Sam Howell's first pass as a commander, he zipped it to the sideline, and I was like, "Whoa, there's a huge difference in those 2 arm strengths." And then you got noodle arm Heineke in there, And I sat here and go, "Wait a minute." Last year when we were on our 4-game win streak, I was sitting here going, "He might be our starter. We might have our guy."
You did say that. You did.
I did. And I'm like, no, we don't, So I'm with you. I was hoping to see a little bit more. I'm hoping if he plays better against Kansas City, maybe I'll wear my Heineke shirt next week to kind of give him some props. But yeah, he was a little bit disappointing as well. Absolutely. Yeah. Although it was the receiver's fault in the pick. Someone else, he's got to get open.
No,
I'm just kidding. That was a terrible throw. That was an awful miscommunication by those guys.
And hey, that's what it is. But again, that's something I need to see between him, Gibby. Do you want to talk about the negatives? We talked about the negatives on defense. Let's go into evaluation. Let's kind of break down some of the places that we're kind of looking at as far as things we can build on potentially. Maybe break down the actual players that we can kind of focus on and say, hey, okay, I like where we're going with this. What are your some of the thoughts, like overall kind of evaluation of the team and, diving into this? What are you thinking?
Yeah. So I saw the offense went, very safe on Saturday. And I think it was a good way so that, because one, we're not talking about any mistakes by Carson Wentz. To Ab's credit, Armani Rogers made some plays. The other guy, Curtis Hodges, did not make plays. He did not impress me out there. That very end of the game, that throw from Howell was a little bit off, but Hodges just didn't show as much, honestly, athleticism out there. He looked to be a big stiff, from what I was kind of seeing. So we were kind of highlighting some shorter routes, shorter passes that were looking good. But, I wanted to see, where the offense is going. I think they're being careful to not show too much, obviously, and being careful to not go deep right now and just do a whole lot, but I enjoyed seeing some of the shorter stuff and seeing who among those young group of tight ends is gonna show up. And right now, I would say Rodgers has got the leading edge on making the 53. Shout out Ab for predicting that early on.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I don't want to overemphasize this, but I got to go to the position I played in high school, running back. Man, it felt so good to see Robinson doing what we thought Gibson was going to do. You know what I mean? Gibson was always a shoestring tackle away from breaking it or something like that. Robinson was busting through. Robinson, if they had tried to put the arm out, he was crushing that and continually moving. I mean, that first run where he was carrying dudes. One run, he sat here and he made a move to the right, and then he literally had a split second, caught it, and then came back to the left. And I was like, woo, okay. And still leaned forward and gained an extra couple yards. And I'm like, oh yeah. We haven't had, even in the year we had where we won the division, Gibby hasn't really put fear into people. And that was when he wasn't fumbling. Now he's fumbling, and that's all people are doing. They're punching it out. They're going for the ball. With Robinson, and so with that, you're starting to think, okay, just go down. You're not even worried about him getting the extra yards with Gibson. You're just like, go down.
Yeah.
With Robinson, it's just like, it's just going through. It was what we wanted, that bruiser. You know what I mean? Again, first week of preseason. But I love that coming from a running back's perspective, coming from the fact that we do like the play action. We do run a lot of this, where jet sweeps and stuff like that. We're running the ball. I loved what the O-line did, and I love what my man B-Rob did. And it makes you look at that third pick now and be like, yes, y'all knew what y'all were doing. This was a great, great pick. Now, you don't want to see that from Gibby, and to have him go as far down as you're talking about punt team, kickoff team, that type of stuff. Okay, the message is sent, not only to him, but to us. Like, hey, you got to play, or your job's up for grabs. So hopefully this puts that fire under him. That's something I really, really wanted to see, as far as, because that running game is going to start the passing game. It's going to open up the receivers. It's going to hold those linebackers. We can start moving our offense when that running game gets going. And look, you talked about last year with, when we had that 4-game winning streak and we thought Heineke was it. One of the things that we dominated on was time of possession. When we played the Raiders, we played the Seattle, we played Tampa, we were getting these W's. It was time of possession. That last drive against Tampa Bay, we had started the ball, 8 minutes left to go, and they didn't get the ball back. That we drove down the field, time possession, and a lot of that is running the ball, and that's what we need. And Robinson is just, woof.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked really good.
Yeah. And that first touchdown for the Commanders, that was beautiful. I wish I could have continued to appreciate it once they started playing certain things, but it was really nice to see us at least get into the end zone, man. You talked about the defense before. Let's evaluate that. Let's break that down. What there's things we could build on, outside of that early, where we got bum rush essentially. Second half, and later in the game when we came back, what were your thoughts overall about the defense?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch the second half of preseason.
Oh, right.
So I can only speak on a certain bit. So I like to focus on the guys who are going to actually make the team usually when I'm watching it. But unfortunately, I didn't see the Jamin Davis splash play I was looking for. I didn't see any plays from Butler, our safety, although he did show that he's got some speed out there. I saw some range, and I didn't see anything of positives from Derek Force. And those are the two guys I really wanted to see, know that they're going to get some playing time. So I was looking to see a little bit more of the defense that I did, but backups wise, depth wise, I'm going to have to defer to you to what you saw out there. Some guys making plays, although I did see, we talked about it leading up to it. Daniel Wise was making some plays from the trenches. So I did see him making some nice pass rush, but other than that, I gotta hear what you saw out there.
Well, obviously, for me, it's going to be very, very, very blue and very tunnel vision.
There we go.
I can't. I have to be absolutely honest. I did not expect a lot from Sam Howell coming in that first drive. You talked about that first pass with zip, but he went out. I think went three and out that first drive, and it wasn't looking the best. Essentially, that second drive he started getting going, but then there's something. We talked about it from training camp and OTAs. When they use the word moxie, you know what I mean? When he went in there, he had command of the huddle, and the guys followed him. And you can see he kind of, again, I ain't trying to jump on it. I ain't trying to sit here and look like a super homer, but he just looked comfortable. He looked like he was going through his progressions. Even on when he went to the first touchdown run, looked right, looked over, scanned, looked left. Okay, boom. Now it's time to run. And then, I mean, the wherewithal to sit here and run, make a move. He knew he was past the line of scrimmage, but pump fake? What? And then get in the end zone? What? Yeah. Tar Heels, let's go. but it was so good to do that. And then even after that, number one thing in my mind is, okay, this is Sam Howell. You got to do it again because Will's going to say it was a fluke. You got to do it again. And then he came right back, did it again, and then got the 2-point conversion. It just, what it did is he was not afraid of the moment.
Nope.
And when you had, look, Darryl Green talked about it, that sometimes in life there's those right now moments. Now, yes, this is the first preseason game, so this ain't the Super Bowl. But when you have your opportunity to shine, show up. And then when people say, okay, you did it once, do it again, show up. And they did. And he showed up. And I'm so excited to see. It's something to build off. It's something that you're like, okay, let's go, Sam. And going back to Taylor Heineke, it's like, you see what he's doing. Mm-hmm. You seen that Gibson, he got put down on the bench, and his replacement came in with the rookie. I'm just saying, we've already seen that there's something different about this team in the sense that we're not accepting what happened before. It's not going to be here we go again, okay? It's all of us now believing in, all of us on the same, and we're being held accountable. Let's go. That's where I stand. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, Sam Howell made the game exciting because I did tune in a little bit later on, and I really was interested to watch that final drive from him, and could he lead them back, and he did, and that's awesome to see. The reason why I don't really watch a lot of the second halves of preseasons, but I was glad to see from Sam playing well, is he's up against guys that he was kind of on par on the same level with in college, or he was better. These are guys who, they're going to be backups. They may not even make the team. Like, he is a better player than them. He at one point was considered a first-round pick, the number 1 overall quarterback coming in. So I expect him to play well, in these situations, and I'm glad he did. The other thing I try to be careful when it comes to quarterbacks is I was also a part of the cult of Colt Brennan. And how good did he look how good did he look in the preseason? And on the flip side, I hated in 2001 Sage Rosenfels, and his very first throw as a Redskin was a pick 6, and I blew up out in a preseason game saying, "What is Marty doing? Get this guy out of here!" Sage Rosenfels put together a real good career as a backup quarterback. Yeah. So that's where it's like I try to not get too excited, but Howell had some exciting moments. I saw intangibles out there. I saw some things like you talked about that make it exciting. He's got a strong arm. He's got the ability to run the ball. You really got a chance to see that. So he shows he's got the tools that are worth developing, and that is really exciting to see whether he turns into a really good backup or a future starter. He's got something there. And so you have every right today to be super proud of him and be looking forward. You have every right to be excited. We just also got to remember he was up against guys that he was better at in college, and he's just doing it in the pros. So good.
Very true.
There's a difference between Robinson playing the starters and Sam Howell playing the third strings, but go ahead.
Very true. But we still need to let him know. Let's go. Tar Heels. You already know what it is. Yeah, buddy.
Love it.
Let's go. So, that's kind of where we stand. Will, is there anything else that you might have seen? One thing I did not see, and it was funny because Doc was talking about it. My guy out of Michigan State, Jacob Panasek. Did
he play?
He played, and it was funny because Doc was like, this guy has a great work ethic. His practice he's a great, practicer and everything like that. But he was like, I think he's really going to show up. He's the guy I'm picking to show up. And he really didn't do much. He didn't do much. He's buried down there far on the depth chart. But that is one of the guys that I had mentioned a week ago that I'm really looking at to see if he does something. And he was really underwhelming. He really didn't do much, but maybe, because where he was, or at least a couple times I saw him, he was on the inside. Maybe, he's doing the little things that are making a difference. I don't know. I'm reaching, I'm trying, but we'll see what he does this coming week. Cause everybody's on the chopping block. That's the message I'm getting.
Showing it. Ron's ticked. Yeah. It's good. We want that fire from him. He's been too lethargic on the sidelines.
Okay, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, we brought your breakdown. We're taking too many points from the people that are coming on this show.
I know. And we're so late. We're 20 minutes late for bringing him on. We got to bring him on.
Yeah, we got to get these guys in here. So welcome to Watch Football Weekly. We're gonna be back with you right after this quick little break, and we're gonna bring on our two guests to talk about the in-house experience being in the stadium. And after that first touchdown, they sang a song, and they said it was the same song, but wasn't the same song. But we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the screen. You know my guy down here, Mr. Lowe.
The New Jersey.
Oh, I love that jersey. I love that 2-1.
This joint go hard, just like my daughter would say, flex on them, daddy. Okay, baby girl. Okay, baby girl.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, long time friend of the show, friend of many of the members on the show, Mr. Brandon Spalletta. I'm so glad we finally got you on here. What's up, B? How we doing?
Got the gear. He got the new gear.
Ooh, I like that.
Signed?
And who signed it?
Jonathan Allen.
Oh, that's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Man,
I would have been wearing it, but it's signed.
Did you go to training camp?
No. So I go to those CSA shows at the Dulles Expo Center, and he was there in June was the last one.
Okay.
So I went and I saw him. Saw Chase Young, and I saw Terry McLaurin as well. Awesome. It was pretty cool.
They just said the F with you, then? Like, that's the only signature you got?
No. So I did have a Washington football team full-size flash helmet, the gold ones. So I had Chase Young, Terry, and Jonathan all sign that one too.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, so I have a pretty extensive signed collection, and if Gibson doesn't stop fumbling, that jersey might be up for sale.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, look, this is your first time on the show, Brandon, so we're going to let you go ahead and go first. And first thing we're going to talk about, you saw the game. We just talked about it. First preseason game. We didn't get the W, but there were some bright spots along with some negatives. What were your thoughts on the game, your overall experience? Like, what were your thoughts, man?
All right, so I bleed burgundy and gold. I have been a Redskins fan, a Washington fan my whole life. More than not being called the Redskins, I could never imagine not, saying something like "Let's go Packers" or "Let's go Ravens." Like I bleed burgundy and gold.
Yes,
it
sir.
was always
Love
Commanders. It took me a day or two, and I was like, all right, I'm on board. Let's go Commanders. Let's fast forward to this moment. I think preseason game 1 looks great. Carson Wentz looked all right. He looked pretty good. One thing I noticed is he looked pretty upright. Kind of up. His feet were kind of always moving. It reminded me a lot of Peyton Manning, which is not a bad comparison. But what that means is he's not going to be that 2017 scrambler that was beating up on us and going to the Super Bowl that way.
Right.
So that's the implication. Let's see how that plays out. But I don't envision him tucking down and running every three times every 5-6 plays. He's going to be more in the pocket, slinging it the way he was. He looked good, and I'm impressed. I'm happy. The fumbles for Gibson have to stop. He's a tough runner, but he was not always a runner, and you got to hold on to the ball. Like you said, you can't fumble and keep running in the NFL. It doesn't work. I feel like Brian Mitchell is my spirit animal in this one. This fumbling business is sorry, and this gotta go. Man, I was never a part of something this sorry. Again, I met Antonio, and I had him sign the jersey, and he was cool, and it was dope. We got a picture together, and I'm like, man, you gotta step up, stop.
You didn't say that to him, did you?
No.
Okay.
You can stop fumbling the ball, sir.
Right. I was thinking it.
So how's our running back stuff coming? Wide receiver in college.
Yeah.
He's laughing a little bit.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I thought J.D. McKissick looked good in his limited action, picking up right where he left off. He looked sharp. I thought Brian Robinson was awesome. I thought the rookie looked good. He has that one cut back downhill style like Clinton Portis. It was good to see him attacking those holes, hitting people, dragging people with him, getting the yards, not afraid of the moment, like you said with Sam Howell. I'm so excited. Yes, he looked good.
Let's go.
He had to settle down a little bit, ready, but he had to settle down, and he did. Against, like Will said, people better. He was better than in college, but they're in the NFL now.
There you go.
And he's still doing it. So I think it's encouraging, right? One thing I will say, and I think it was up this way, up. This person's negative. Defense. The defense needs to shore up. Kendall Fuller getting beat by Rashard Higgins in the end zone is not encouraging, right? He was somebody that couldn't make it on the Cleveland Browns on a high-powered offense, right? He had to leave, wasn't getting the numbers over there, and they should have had balls for him over there too. So Kendall Fuller reminds me of D-Hall sometimes. He's a very good player. He will have spurts where he's playing great, and then he'll just get beat real hard. Like D-Hall would just get me so hard. He'd play so good, and then he would just ball hawk, and there'd be a touchdown the other way. And it was like, D-Hall, no, why? Why'd you do that to us? And then like twice a game sometimes, and you're like, no, D-Hall, just take it out of the chest, please. You're killing me. So I don't. We cannot afford to have Kendall Fuller go that route. He's got to step it up. Can't be getting beat in the red zone like that over top from Sam Darnold. Come on. It was a good throw, but no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Fedarian Mathis looked good. I like that big boy. He's like a big kid just ready to hit people. Like, I'm excited. Yeah. Welcome to Washington, kid. Like, you're gonna
let's go.
Yeah. You're home.
Right.
Hug.
Welcome to the NFL.
I'm excited. And that Taylor Heineke pick had shades of Rex Grossman all over it.
Sexy Rexy.
Yeah. Don't know where that ball was going.
It was just the moment it left and was going, I was like, oh, Rex Grossman. Where?
The receiver wasn't close. I think the receiver was on the ground too.
Oh,
yeah.
You gotta do a double take right quick.
Now, the receivers were watching it go over them, bro.
He was like, no.
Like, what's happening?
He literally did this.
He was like, no, what is it doing? That was bad. Yeah. All in all, I think there's a lot to be excited about. I think the defense is still a question mark, so we'll see how that goes, especially when Chase Young gets healthy. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Hell to the Commanders. That fight song is horrendous.
So that is what I wanted to talk to you about. And ladies and gentlemen, for you, those of you that don't know, my guy from Herndon, Brandon Spalletta, joins us to talk about that song. I'm glad you were able to break down the game a little bit. And Ab, I want you to get your 2 cents on as well, because I see your face. But Brandon, talk to me, man. When we scored the touchdown, B-Rob gets in there. We're excited, Commanders, and then they play the song, and you're like.
So honestly, the first thing that happened, and I'm on board. I'm okay with the Commanders. Like I was upset for a second that the Redskins were no longer, and I was like, cool, I'm with it. I bleed burgundy and gold. But the moment, and I'm not like, I don't need to go back. We're good. But I started singing Hail to the Redskins. It just happened. Yeah. And like it ended, and I was like, oh, we're not the Redskins. Wow. Yeah. And I didn't hear any Commanders words. Nothing. I didn't hear. All I heard was the music, which still sounded to me like Hail to the Redskins. And that's all I sang. And so I hate that it's this and I said this to you in a private message.
Say it.
It's like this amalgamation of death and decay that has just become this like rotting zombie that's just like, oh, I'm being paraded for your hopeful entertainment. And it's just awful. They couldn't have hired some creatives to come in and really think up something for us. Like, we all wanted to be the Red Wolves, and they just said, well, because of existing trademarks,
right?
Meaning because we can't make enough money off of it. And what, like 80% of us wanted Red Wolves. So I mean, like, they're obviously not here for us. So we're seeing that again with the fight song. And I don't know.
Do you think they should retire the fight song?
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
I don't know. Because when I heard it, it brought me joy. Like, I felt happy. Like, I was like, oh, that's the Redskins. And I was like, oh, but we're not the Redskins.
Yeah.
And then I felt sad again. And then I was like, Washington, why are you doing this to me? Abdul, Ab, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, you were there, Ab. Tell us about what was the stadium like during that?
What was it like?
Okay, so you remember when you first heard Ice Ice Baby? Right?
Ding, 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 ding.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you found out it was a bite off of another song, you're like,
oh, yeah. Under pressure.
Like,
right. right.
Like you felt almost disrespected. That's what it was. Okay.
Yes.
Like, that shit was straight garbage, bro. Like, I don't even understand how, like, it, like, you guys knew, y'all remember how mad I was when they came out with the song, or no, not the song, but they came out with the commander's name. I was upset, irritated. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to tell you, bothered. And literally, it's like because the main thing I was talking about, there was no effort. It was no effort into the name of this team, and it's the same thing with this song. Like, you changed 3 words in the damn song, and then all of a sudden we supposed to jump on this shit? Man, fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
God, jeez.
This is live.
Oh my goodness.
Years of disappointment.
Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
I apologize. My bad. But that's how mad I get, guys.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Well, look, Ab. So, but like you said, you were there. So they score the first touchdown. We're excited. B-Rob gets in there, everything. And then they play it. What was the feeling there? How were people reacting?
No, like, everybody was just in the moment that we scored a touchdown because we really thought we were going to get blown out. Yeah. So, like, like, honestly, we were just excited in the moment. And honestly, it didn't even seem like before. It was like, oh, the song's about to play. Everybody knew the song's about to play, but no one knew the song was about to play here. And it didn't even seem like it was. Like, I didn't even hear it, tell you the truth.
They didn't. The first touchdown with Brian Robinson, they didn't play it.
That's what I'm saying.
They forgot.
There you go. See? Exactly. We just, like, I didn't even hear it. And then they put the words up on the screen like it was karaoke.
I saw that. Right. It's like, wait, what?
What? Like, it wasn't there. Like, it wasn't, man. It was just, like, honestly, I was very done with this. And I don't know if you guys, like, they put on the screen also about the mascots for our team, and, like, it was like 4 very bad choices. Like,
things
honestly,
I don't care about.
Like, I was sitting there just like, you guys aren't even trying. Like, they were like, we singled it out to 4 different mascots, and it was like, what? Like, it was nothing that anybody's interested in. Nothing, bro.
Yeah. Wow. So Ab, were you there at 12:45 when they unveiled Hail to the Commanders for the first time? Were you in the stadium for it?
Yes, I was eating though, so I wasn't paying attention to nothing.
There's 2 versions they brought out. The very first one that they brought out was to explain the new lyrics, and it sounded like an opera singer
Yep.
Yeah.
singing this, and it was very slow. And I heard this later on. I'm like, what is this? And then they had the second version. That was a little bit. So this is my time to shine, boys. You guys,
get it.
you two get a chance to talk about running in high school at Herndon. While you guys were running, your boy was up in the stands tooting his horn on the saxophone. So this is my chance to talk about.
Get it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm not proud of that. I was embarrassed as all get out of that dorky uniform. But I was excited for them to bring back Hail to the Redskins with some modifications because I did want to sing it. I wanted to sing da 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 da. But what I just did is what I was expecting. When they talked about we're going to modify it to today's age, I didn't think they would go slower than it already was. That's my biggest problem. I don't care about fight for our commanders. That's a stupid lyric. I'll say Braves on the warpath all day. And I got no problem saying Hail to the Commanders. It's the speed of the song that is off to me. They need it to be faster. The way, like if you go to a tailgate and drunken fans start singing Hail to the Redskins, they say it faster than they do in the stadium. And that was part of what I thought was the biggest problem was if you speed it up, it will sound better. Along with the fact that they kind of tried to put some harmonies with the trumpets that just sounded a little off. But more importantly, if they speed it up, I think it will flow better. Because when I saw a clip and they were showing a touchdown by Brian Robinson, and you heard in the background, they were doing a highlight of it. And I was like, that's the song I hear during touchdowns. That's what I want to hear. Right. But you got to speed the tempo up.
Well, it all sounded like shit. So it was just so bad, bro. It really was. Like honestly, when I did hear it, I was just like, it's not motivating, bro. Like right. I'm sorry, Will.
No, you're right. It's slow.
You know more about that than I do, but like it just sounded awful altogether. It didn't sound like it went together. Like it was like they were making up words to put in, and I can't even describe it. It was just that bad, bro.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say, I was having high expectations of it, and then I heard it, and I was like, they didn't hit it. They did not hit it. And once again, they botched something else.
Well, right. And at the end of the day, we all know we're looking for Hail to the Redskins, and obviously, forgive for anybody that's offended by Redskin, but Hail to that tune, that beat, going in that direction. That's what we want after a touchdown, that excitement. But to hear that it wasn't even like people, it was like whatever. Like, all right, so you get past that, all right, and you go to the game. Now, obviously, we all know you are dying to talk about Sam Howell, but just if you can hold it in just for a little bit and talk about the rest of the team and how they almost compared to Sam Howell in North Carolina. Let's go. Okay,
so just so you know, when I went to the game, I met some wonderful people there, and honestly, I'm a part of. I don't know if I told you guys or if everyone knows, but I got season tickets, and I'm on the away side, not on the home side. So I thought I was the only person that was going to be season ticket holder on the away side. I wasn't. I'm actually with another couple that's sitting right in front of me, and we chopping it up and everything like that. So that was that was my first great experience right there. The stadium, I don't know why they have a magnifying glass on top of the stadium, but they burn me, bro. Look, a black man's not supposed to burn like this. I'm red as a mug right now, man. Like I'm all red.
You said it was hot.
I'm peeling on my nose and everything like that. That's not supposed to happen. Okay. But the game. So I think Carson Wentz was great. Honestly, for a new team, third offense in 3 years, we have to give him his props for how he played the game. I think he threw to the tight ends way too much, but then at the same time, I think the wide receivers need to get open faster. So we need to help Carson Wentz out with that. The offensive line, especially with having two two of our starters not there, 2 or 3 of our starters not there.
Mm-hmm.
They did a great job for holding that protection for Carson Wentz. Brandon, you said that you didn't see Carson Wentz. You saw Carson Wentz acting like Peyton Manning. I think Carson Wentz is going to be a runner. I still think my man's going to get about 500 yards rushing. And I really do see it. I really do see it. I think they just wanted to see his arm for right now. And honestly, I think the team needed it too. We just needed and the fans needed to see that he's able to throw and everything like that.
Yeah.
He probably would have been 100% if there was a different if those balls were just a little bit different. And honestly, I'm not saying those balls were way off. They were probably they were pretty much catchable balls, you know what I'm saying? But it was really good defense. It really was. So I mean, any given day, those were like 50-50 balls. Let me call it that. Yeah. Okay. So and I'll move on to Gibson. Gibson, he has the tendency. I don't know what he's doing, but Sean knows. He's sitting there going to one hand, like tucking it in one hand before he even gets through the line of scrimmage. Like I don't know where they teach that at. They don't teach it at Herndon, but I'm you know what I'm saying. But I don't know where they teach that at. And this man is doing this before he even gets through the line of scrimmage, and that's not even okay. And you would think that's something he would have learned in the off season, but that's just not okay. I do think that it's going to be a 50-50 game, just like you said, Will. But like they did it in Carolina a few years ago. Williams and what's the other one?
Stewart.
Yeah. So I do feel it's going to be one of those things, and McKissick to sprinkle on top of it. I do see. Thank you for giving me my props about Armani Rogers. I do appreciate that because I am sometimes always right. So like sometimes always right when I talk about this stuff. Okay. So but yeah, he's gonna be the 4. And I think when we saw Samus Reyes get put onto the IR, that was a strategic move just so we can put Armani Rogers as our 4th tight end. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Defense. I do not see. I think our offense is going to be the strong point. Defense. One thing that we need to point out is Montez Sweat could not get past their left tackle that they just picked up in the draft. That's one thing you guys didn't bring up. Montez Sweat was not able to get past that man. And so that's something we need to address. We need to understand that if you're not able to get past the rookie, bro, what's going on? What are we not doing? What is the issue? And that's something that just needs to happen. Like, you're a vet. You've been in the game for this long. There's no reason why a rookie should be showing you up. The name escapes me, so I apologize.
I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it either. So that was one of my issues. Montez Sweat needs to be able to beat those guys. And honestly, I already told you, I hate the defensive calls. What's his name? Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio. I was watching the game, guys, because when you watch the game at the stadium and then when you watch it at home, it's two completely different things. You cannot pay attention. I've been drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way. There's no way I'm gonna have my analytics all lined up in my notepads and everything like that at the game.
Abs at the game, right? Notes. Hold on.
y'all cannot put that pressure on me, okay? Okay, so I had to come home and watch the replays of everything like that, and that is very, very helpful.
Yeah.
That I did it that way. And I was able to see that Jamin Davis is not it, guys. Honestly, Holcomb is not it. And that's just something that I was watching. And Jacob pastrami sandwich, like that dude is not it either, Sean. So honestly, I don't even know. Like,
is Sam Howell it? Can we say Sam Howell's it? Can we I get one guy?
Jacob pastrami sandwich was not it. He just like Sean. It was like he looked like Tim Tebow out there trying to play tight end.
Yeah,
that's how bad he looked. That's how bad he looked. And I was really hoping, especially the way Doc was talking about him, about hyping him up and everything like that. I'm sitting there like, okay, that's it.
What? Right? Yo, Ab. So we have to bring this up because at one point, Doc, I know you heard this. Doc was like, you know what, man? We really need a hero on defense, and I'm gonna put my money on this guy, Jacob Panizek. I'm telling you, he's gonna do it. Watch this play. And then he got totally stonewalled. And then he doubled down the next play, and he was like, I'm telling you, if there's somebody I'm choosing, it's this guy. And he did nothing.
Sean, can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
So when he said that, I remember thinking to myself, I think Giants fans were signed a petition once to get Phil Simms to never comment their games ever again because he was such a jerk. Like he was terrible and he was like offending everyone and just being horrible. I remember thinking like, can we do the same thing for Doc Walker?
Hey, the first name is on the list. The first name is signed. I will send it to you guys. Right?
The guy was so bad.
It was awful.
So bad.
It was awful.
I was really irritated by his commentary. Like, honestly, I'm trying to tell you, Sean, Will, y'all seen me complain about this guy. Yeah. And honestly, it's just this man is like, I can't say he's not knowledgeable because he's played the game before, but maybe he's not knowledgeable to the sense of knowing all the positions and their responsibilities. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. And then just the way that he was just like, we need to make a play. Duh, we need to make a play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about right now? We all know something needs to happen, but he sounded like a fan. Yeah. And to me, I'm not trying to hear another fan in the booth commentating the game. I want to hear someone that knows something. Like, honestly, that's why I respect Tony Romo so much when he's up there. The dude is as knowledgeable as anybody in this world. Yeah. And he's like, he's to the point where he can call a play before the play is even called.
I love it. I love it.
That is how it should be done.
Right.
Yeah.
And
teaching me what's happening out there, not hyping me as the fan.
Yeah. I don't need the hype. I'm hype already. My kids can't sleep already when the game goes on, so I don't need that. I don't. Yeah. So
he seemed like somebody like maybe like not even a coach, but maybe like player personnel guy that you have that's on the sidelines that's getting into you guys like, yo, you lost that play. You need to get better. And it's like, all right, I respect you. You got a ring. You've been in the league. All right, thank you. Not talking about the game from the booth.
Actually, Sean, I'm going to demote this guy, okay? No, I'm going to demote him. He's the guy that pulls the coach off of the field because the coach is too much on the field. Guy. No, get back. Like, no, he's that guy.
Wow.
I will say he made Chris Collinsworth seem tolerable.
Collinsworth knows what he's talking about, though.
But that man is annoying as hell. That man will just be like, no. And you're just like, oh my God, stop.
But look, all right. You already know. When it comes to us Washington fans, we can sit here all day. I love this. I want to talk to us. I want to bring up one more thing. We got somebody else that's coming on because we're previewing the next game. I do want to bring up one thing, okay? Took us to the third drive. Third drive was what we wanted. 14 plays,
One real quick.
Yeah.
Sam Howell's the future. I just said that a few weeks ago, so that's it. I said that on the show. Mic drop.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and clip that right now and make it short. Okay. Just bear with me. But look, all right. So that first drive, Carson Wentz, first team, 14 plays, or the third drive, 14 plays, 82 yards. B-Rob gets a touchdown. We're the song, whatever, boom, we're in the end zone. Yes. And then Joey Slye misses the extra point. Should we be worried about that?
Yes, we should. Why can't we get a kicker in Washington? I don't understand this. Everybody was so high on Dustin Hopkins, but he would miss point afters and he would miss easy field goals. And I was like, he's not that great of a kicker. And then like Joey Slye made a few, and then he's missing point. I'm like, can we draft somebody maybe like in like the 6th rounder? Use a 6 or something, maybe. Or
we need to go to Buffalo, and I know this guy's a punter. The
punt
guy
guy.
Abby we're talking about. We can make him field goal kicker.
Say it again, Sean. Say it again. Say it again, please.
Your guy,
Say it
the punt
again.
god, Mr. Matt Ariza. You called it. We need to go ahead and get him. I'm not saying put him at punter because I love Tress. Tress could be the MVP tier for us. But if we could turn him into a kicker, now I'm just saying.
No, he is a kicker.
See,
he's already a kicker. He goes both what he goes.
On that note,
he kicks from both sides of the green.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to move on. Yo, I love it. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout this season, get familiar with this face and that face down there. They will be coming on the show. They will be breaking down analysis. Ab will be yelling at the team, telling Doc Walker that he's a get-back coach, all right? But this is what we absolutely love to do, and this is what we're going to bring to you. So we appreciate y'all coming on here. Hail to the Commanders, and we definitely got to get you on here in the coming weeks. My people.
The Commanders.
Thanks, guys, for having me
fellas.
on. I appreciate you.
You all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Do the same. Thanks, guys. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the final segment. We got one more special guest that we're going to bring on here. We're going to hit a quick little break, and then when we are back, Mr. Chiefs, Mr. Brian Westhues will be joining the show.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy. Welcome, Brian Westhues. How you doing, buddy? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I'm very excited. This is awesome. You guys
Nice. We're happy to have you on here.
Definitely.
It's been a long time since we've had a chance to chat, man.
I know it. We text every once in a while. You're really good about that. I'm a terrible friend. I don't ever do that.
I try to stay in touch.
Look, the only way I was able to lock Will down was to get him on the show every single week. So
All right.
Wednesdays, I know where you are Wednesdays, all right?
Right. Yep. Yeah, he does.
So, talk to us a little bit about you're a Chiefs fan. You, unlike us, have been enjoying success the last couple years.
Yeah. So Will's like, hey, talk to us about the last 3 AFC Championship games. I'm like, it's actually 4. It's actually
That's just
yeah.
We don't know what that's like.
Playoffs,
success.
Right. We've certainly enjoyed a lot of success. Doesn't make the hard. It's one of those things where the Chiefs have been these guys who've gotten so close so many times, and there's game after playoff game after playoff game after playoff game of just we're gonna win this big. Look how big we're winning, and then in the second half, the Colts take it, the Steelers take it, or the Titans take it, or last year the Bengals took it. We have so many of those stories. I mean, you talk to any Chiefs fan, that's all they'll tell you about is how many. We love the wins, but man, we talk about the losses way more.
I understand. I get it, but look, you guys have had talent over the years. I mean, we know about what you have now, Patrick Mahomes. But you go back a couple of years, Alex Smith wasn't horrible. You go back before that, Trent Green, Priest Holmes, some of those guys. Marty Ball, we love.
Did love some Marty Ball.
Come on, Neil Smith, Derek Thomas, going back further. how does now and your recent success, how does that compare to maybe what you've had before?
Oh, absolutely. Because we won a Super Bowl, it's completely different. We do have those guys that we love. I mean, those guys are legends. Neil Smith, Derek Thomas, those guys, you'll never replace those. I mean, you see those jerseys in Arrowhead every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And Trent Green, I mean, they had a run in 03 that they should have won the Super Bowl, man. That was a really talented team. Priest Holmes and that line and that era when you needed lines and could run the football a lot more, those guys should have won a Super Bowl. But it just didn't happen. So when you talk about like Mahomes and Kelsey and, Hill's gone now, but I mean, those guys are in completely different breath than those other guys. We've had so much talent around Kansas City ever since the 90s.
Yeah.
We've been very spoiled. Just not able to punch that ticket all the time. It's not like we're the Patriots by any means. So
right.
we very much, we love getting to the AFC Championship game and winning Super Bowls, but it is fun and we love our legends. We talk about them all day.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about this. It's like, how do you what is the level of excitement to start another season after you've had so much success? Like, oh, we're so close. So then are you even more jacked up for the next season? Cause you're like, we can do it again. We're that good enough to do it again.
I mean, definitely the way we lost to the Bengals, we've had some hard losses. I can only speak for me. If you'd had me on last year for this kind of thing, I could have given you every stat in the world. We were gonna take the world by storm. This year, it's just, I think we're a little hungover and just really interested to see how the season's going to go because it is, this is probably the most different team we've had in the last 5 years since Mahomes took over.
Right.
From a defensive standpoint and an offensive standpoint. So I think a lot of Chiefs fans are really curious to see how the first quarter of the season goes, and that'll kind of be going to dictate what we expect going forward. But yeah, this is a really different team. So, as far as being excited and are we going to take the world by storm? I'm sure if you talk to any Chiefs fan, we think we will. But it's actually very interesting just because there is so much turnover on the roster.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to me about some of that. And actually, you'll have to go into more of the defense that I'm not as aware of. Every NFL fan knows what you did on offense. Getting rid of Tyreek Hill and bringing in Juju and MVS. Talk to me about your thoughts on offense, and then teach us a little bit about the defense, like you're talking about some of the moves made.
Well, we'll start on offense. So last year, going into last season, we were hoping to get Juju Smith-Schuster, and we thought I think a lot of Chiefs fans would say we needed a good number 2. We had Tyreek Hill, and then there was a drop off. We kind of had some expectations that Mecole Hardman would be a little bit more of a playmaker than he was. He was kind of supposed to be the backup for Tyreek Hill when all that went down a couple of years ago when we expected to lose him for a significant amount of time. That was going to be his replacement in the offense. And he really hasn't – he's done well. He's made plays, but he hasn't produced the way most Chiefs fans kind of hoped he would. Then we had Demarcus Robinson, who was also competing for that number 2 spot, who this year couldn't make a team. That tells you where we were from a wide receiver depth standpoint. So we very much were hoping – to get another big guy who Mahomes could go to instead of just Hill, just Kelsey. Yeah. And so we get Smith-Schuster this year, and we're all excited. And then a week later, we trade Tyreek Hill. So we're, okay, where are we?
Right.
Well, what are we doing?
Same level, right?
MVS, where he showed some flashes in Green Bay. So I think a lot of us are kind of optimistic about him. And then Sky Moore's a rookie. Who we brought in,
Western Michigan.
Very much hoping that he can be show some big playability too. One of the things that we were actually disappointed with Tyreek Hill last year was he didn't really stretch. He's the fastest guy in the league. The most excited I've ever been was whenever we had a preseason game 4-5 years ago against the Falcons, and Mahomes, cocks back and throws one 70 yards down the field to Tyreek Hill with 3 guys on his tail. And you just kind of knew the guy that could throw the longest, throwing to the guy who's the fastest in the league, this is going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
But we really didn't do that last year. Anything we got to Hill was, and granted, it's a great talent to get him in space. Totally think that's a good way to go, but we didn't have anything vertical threat wise. So we're hoping Sky Moore does that. We're hoping that, Juju Smith-Schuster helps take some of the heat off of Kelsey in the middle. We're hoping, Scantling can be that big 70-yard play guy that he was for Rodgers for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, so that's so interesting that you said that, because when I feel like the highlights that I know of Tyreek Hill are he's running a drag, he's running a slant, and he catches it, but then he just runs past everyone. But he's not.
Yeah.
It's not deep throws, just like you said. And there was some times watching games where I'm like, oh man, once he caught it, he took off past everyone. But I'm curious how that offense is going to work without having that guy who just takes it and goes. Are they going to have to be more balanced with it and be a little bit more methodical down the field?
Absolutely. And I mean, what happened with that, and I think Cincinnati taught us that, was they could kind of put 4 on 2. So they had 2 guys bracketing Kelsey, 2 guys bracketing Hill, took away anything deep that they could do. And then they knew they could cover 1-on-1 with our other receivers, and our backs weren't terribly effective. And that's another thing where we have a guy going into his 3rd year who was a first-round draft pick 2 years ago at a running back position, that in this day and age, taking a running back in the 1st round, they better be an absolute stud.
Yeah.
And that just hasn't been the case with CEH. And so, they're still trying to get him. I think I read an article today where they're trying to get him to be be able to run the ball 10 plays in a row. So, we've got the offensive line certainly to do that now. But, it's a little frustrating when you watch a play in the playoffs where we're 1st and goal from the, 2 and can't punch it in because we're trying screens. And, I mean, you live by the sword and you die by the sword. I'm not ignorant enough to know that, we won some games because Andy Reid is, the Mad Hatter down there in the red zone and can do some crazy stuff. But I think, old school football fans want to see us do 2 tackles, fullback, let's run it down the throat, and we have 1st and goal from 2. I think a lot of us still want to see that. So,
like Nicholas said in there in the comments, Christian Okoye time.
Oh,
yeah.
Nigerian nightmare, baby.
Yeah, we would love to see that, or some old school Priest Holmes, Marcus Allen. We would love to see some of that come back.
There's
Jamal
2
Charles,
two drafts.
Running backs.
Sorry. I'll be quiet. Sorry. No, you talk about 2 draft picks that you thought were going to really hit, and you're talking about it. CEH and down here in South Carolina, I know who Mecole Hardman was, and he was so fast on Georgia. And when you all drafted him, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! They got that guy. I thought he was going to tear up. I thought he was going to take the league by storm. And I've been surprised how neither one of those really has elevated to where I thought they would be.
Yeah, and even on special teams, where Tyreek Hill was just an absolute game changer. If you punted the ball to him a few years ago, whenever he was back there, want Mecole Hardman to be that guy, and he just really hasn't had any huge, field position changing returns for us, or touchdowns would be the goal there too. But so, but how fast he is. Maybe he can learn something. Contract years are undefeated, so if we run into one of those, maybe he does produce a little.
Sure. Yeah. So talk to me about the defense. You mentioned some changes in there. Tell us about that.
Lost Honey Badger. So I was a big Honey Badger fan. That was the jersey I got last year, so I was disappointed to see him go. From our safety position, it's been real interesting the last couple of years. We've had Dan Sorensen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He was a BYU guy. So we kind of ran 3 safeties. We had 3 safeties that we rotate in. So it was Honey Badger, and then we get sorry if you guys can hear that.
Yeah, the baby is not happy.
Nothing like vacation.
Yeah.
We had so we'd rotate, Juan Thornhill was a Virginia guy close to you guys, so you guys probably know what he can do. I think most Chiefs Kingdom is really big fans of him.
Yeah.
And we had Dan Sorensen we'd rotate in. So Dan Sorensen made some really highlight plays that we all remember very positively, but we also remember him for plays that he gave like big, safety's number 1 job, don't get beat deep, and how many times did we see him do that kind of thing. So both of them are gone. So we have Justin Reed coming in at safety. He's from the Texans. He can also kick PATs. He did that last week.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That came out of nowhere.
Got to protect that kicker in the preseason.
He said Reed was just like, hey, if you get an opportunity in the game, you can do it. And he let him do it, and he made it. He was like, oh, okay.
That's hilarious.
I'm glad they're having a little fun. And he made it. So, it was a good decision, apparently. We still lost the game, but, we can't blame him for that. So our secondary looks much different because we have Juan Thornhill now. He was hurt last year a lot. We thought he'd recovered and wanted him to get some more reps, and that just didn't happen. So hopefully this year you hope that he's completely healed and getting those reps. We're working with Reed. Reed's been pretty solid for the Texans. Hope he takes another step with us. We drafted in the 1st round a guy named Trent McDuffie out of Washington. So, we're hoping that he can show the same kind of first year, have the first kind of year that L'Jarius Sneed had last year. We were all really pleased with him. We lost Javarius Ward, so we don't have him as a cornerback anymore. I think we lost a couple years ago, Kendall Fuller. I think you guys picked him back up, so that was a good pickup for us for that Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
So from the secondary standpoint, we look a lot different. And then up front, we drafted a Purdue guy named Karlaftis. So one of the big problems we've struggled with is getting a pass rush for the front four. And I know it's a struggle for a lot of people. Maybe not you guys with Montez Sweat and Chase Young, but for the rest of the world, we have a lot of problem getting to the quarterback. So even with Frank Clark I don't think we've probably gotten what we paid for out of him. His contract is pretty steep. Chris Jones just got a pretty big contract a couple years ago, and he's taking up a lot of double teams. But that's big from the defense standpoint. So we want to be solid in the secondary and get a lot better pass rush than we've been getting. So we've got a lot of new names, and we kind of hope they can do that.
You've got a name at linebacker now. Ab keeps coming in and out, so I don't know if he's going to hear me when I say this. But Sean, do you know who the Chiefs picked up at linebacker in the draft? Leo Chenal.
Out of Wisconsin?
They did. That was the guy who was on here before wearing the Redskin. Well, actually, it's a Commander jersey. He loved this guy. He raved about him. So you all picked him up. I saw that on your depth chart. The other guy you got is linebacker, and so he's going to be your what to watch. You picked up Jermaine Carter, linebacker from the University of Maryland. So he's going to have some skill here.
He was the Maryland. He was EJ. What was his name?
EJ Henderson.
EJ Henderson. When I think of Maryland linebackers, I think of EJ Henderson.
Player. He was a good player. Yeah, Sean, I cut you off last time. I think you had a question, so let me defer to you and let you ask.
You started talking Maryland, and I just totally just went left. I don't know, man. No. I wanted to ask you. So you talked about your defense, and I want to get to this preseason game, but you mentioned CEH. I was a running back in high school, and we know what he came off that LSU team that obviously Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. So, and there was a question actually Nathan asked, in that offense where you have Tyreek and now you don't, but you have Juju, you have MVS, you have Kelsey. Do you need the the running back we were, two tight ends, fullback, wham right up the gut. Do you need that type of running back in that offense, or can somebody else fill in? Because CEH was hurt for a good period of time, wasn't he?
Yeah, we had some guys fill in. Derek Gore did a really good job. Jarek McKinnon started to get some carries later on in the year. We definitely wanted more production out of him. I mean, if you look at our years with Kareem Hunt, I mean, he was that back. So
exactly.
We had some great years with him, and then he we had to let go of him. That was just, there's no way you don't let go of him for that. But I mean, from an offensive production standpoint, when we had that power back there who was also so versatile and could catch the ball out of the backfield and make plays, I think that's a huge part of the offense. And from the standpoint of having the defense have to play up, and then those linebackers play near the line of scrimmage. So whenever Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, whoever is going to be playing in the middle, then that kind of makes that a little more open. Unless those safety comes down, that's when I talk about the deep threat, having somebody who need to go over top, because are you going to pick your poison of, we're not going to let this running back who's versatile and can make plays out of the backfield, and it's a big guy and it's going to take a lot to get him down, versus explosive play. So that was the formula for so many years that we didn't get to see as much last year. But yeah, I think having a big back like that is important, who can produce like that.
Gotcha. You've been sitting here. I'm so envious, because you've just been rattling off names of players. I'm like, oh yeah, he was good. Oh yeah, he was good. Like, you just listed these running backs, like, and we're just trying to get some good players that people know about, some household names.
I mean, I think it's Andy Reid too. I mean, I can't remember his name. We had so many running backs with like just the different name, but the running back who should have won Super Bowl MVP, and his name escapes me, but I mean, he was like an undrafted free agent, and he came out and just had.
Oh, it was like the Williams kid.
Yeah, Williams.
Yeah, Damian Williams.
Thank you. Yeah. Undrafted free agent just came out of nowhere and absolutely filled in and produced. So, it doesn't have to be a big name. Like most Chiefs fans would say, it doesn't have to be a first round pick. You just need somebody that you can plug in there, and kind of know the playbook and know what to look for.
Right. So the AFC West is probably the strongest division in the NFL right now.
Aside from the NFC East, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, aside from what, we're the black and blue division here.
You know what it is. Let's go.
So you've got some teams that are spending money. You've got some teams with some young talent that's really emerging. Is there any team you're worried about coming on your heels here? Like, is there a chance that the Chiefs are going to regress, or because there's some new guys, some new blood here, they're going to take over? Who are you most worried about as your opponents?
Yeah, it's a loaded division. The Chargers have made strides in the last year. Herbert looks like he's going to be a Pro Bowler again. He's legit, and they got weapons around him, and they do a really good job. And I think, we've kind of tightened this up from a defensive standpoint on linebacker. We got Nick Bolton now, who does a really good job, and I'm a Mizzou guy, so of course I'm his biggest fan.
Yeah.
But what the Chargers have done against us successfully a lot is get whether it's Melvin Gordon or whoever else they want to put back there, just putting them out of the backfield, and they've killed us. So the Chargers are always a threat, and they've just got so much speed. That's the thing in the AFC West this year. I mean, it's kind of keeping up with the Joneses, and we got Tyreek Hill, and everybody else thought they needed to go get speed. So, I mean, everybody's just so fast now. The Broncos have Judy. The Raiders had Ruggs, but I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, right? I don't think he'll ever play again.
Okay.
But they got Devontae Adams now.
Yeah. So,
right.
The speed there is, I think it's much faster in every other division too. So, but there's so much turnover. So we know what the Chargers are going to do. We know Brandon Staley's I'm going to go for it on 4th down, and he's going to roll the dice. And so that's been successful. So, we're always on the edge of our seat when we play the Chargers. I hesitate to say we think we're going to regress behind them. Having a Chiefs hat on every year for the last 15 years, 16 years, 20 years, whatever, most outlets, whenever they're doing the predictions, are Chargers first, Chiefs second, even after we won the Super Bowl, after all that. So there's like we very much have a chip on our shoulder, and I would be remiss to say like, oh yeah, the Chargers might win this year, because that's kind of Lucy football, Charlie Brown, you guys know.
Yeah. Yes.
But they are real. I mean, they're a very talented team. Staley's a very good coach. He's at cutting edge. He's very much one of those hot names you're going to hear. So they're for real. We've seen Josh McDaniels before whenever he was with the Broncos. So now he's with the Raiders. Derek Carr is with the Raiders. He's always fun to beat. Him and, his brother David Carr, who always picks the Raiders to win everything because of his allegiance to his brother. We always get kicked out of that in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But they've got weapons. I mean, Waller's for real. And then their defense is, they've got Max Crosby. And who else did they? I feel like they got another pass rusher that's like really good.
Chandler Jones.
That's right.
Chandler Jones. Yeah, that's the one. So, we're definitely going to be up against it there. The Broncos. Oh, and sorry, going back to the Chargers, they added Khalil Mack. So,
yes,
on their defense. And if Derwin James can stay healthy for once, that defense is real.
I think it goes and comes with Derwin James on defense for them. But I did want to ask you something, because you mentioned you're a Mizzou guy. Yeah. Speaking of the Chargers, they got Roundtree the third. How you feeling about that? Because he was a monster in college.
Again, another back out of the backfield who can kind of hurt us if we don't have linebackers that can go sideline to sideline. But I think Nick Bolton is that guy who can do that. And I think, I don't know if they ever played. I think they were on the same team, so he knows him. Roundtree is. It's fun to watch him. Drew Lock, I thought he would have the level of success he had. I'll leave it at that. But, I do wish him well in Seattle. I wish all those Mizzou guys well. Roundtree was fun to watch too.
Mm-hmm. And you got Beatty with the Ravens this year. So I've been keeping an eye on them. I gotta shout out my guy, Anthony Hanley, who's a diehard Georgia fan. He does a little SEC show, and he always talks about the top tier. And I'm like, yo, you leaving out Missouri, you leaving out Van, you leaving out some of these other teams, man. They got talent, man. These guys can play.
We do, but there's a ton of talent in the FCC, even from top to bottom. The Mizzou has had so many first-round draft picks. I want to say like as many first-round draft picks as besides like Alabama and Georgia, I think, as anybody since we joined the SEC. So we've always got guys that can just go play, but we just don't have the top to bottom rosters to compete with the Alabamas and the Georgias year in and year out. We've made a couple good runs, but it's hard to.
They had more success than people thought. Especially in football. They really did. There's a lot of talk of like, oh, well, they'll be a good basketball, team to bring in here. But they've really competed a lot more in football than people.
And our basketball
give
team
them
is
credit.
not the
And the basketball team went in the other way. The Mizzou is at that other Columbia.
Uh-huh.
I was about to say they can rest easy that they're in the good Columbia, not the Gamecock.
They
do like South Carolina
up.
because there's two major colleges with Columbia, and there's two major colleges that use USC as their
yes.
Their,
That's because the where I'm at, it gets confused as to where they are calling themselves the real USC. Okay.
Yeah.
But they do.
We all know who the dominant South Carolina team is, and it's not the football team. It's a lady basketball team.
True.
Yeah.
They do always hype. So South Carolina and Mizzou play every year, and they are like, oh, it's the Mayor's Cup, and the Mayors put like different things in the line and stuff, and they try and hype it up, but it is just so far away geographically. It's hard to kind of get hyped up for that game.
Hey man, I've been to a South Carolina game, and our mutual friend Ian he came to a South Carolina Mizzou game, so we've made that trip. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It is very far, but it's a lot of fun.
I can dig it. But look, we got you on here, and we so appreciate you giving us that insight on Kansas City. I feel like I kind of know. I feel like I'm more envious than I was before you came on the show. Because we don't know what a good quarterback is. So
I think Wentz will get you guys to the playoffs this year.
We're hoping. We're hoping. Yeah,
he's
the best we've had in years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think so too. I think Washington, given the division they're in, and take that for what it is, I think you've got a really good chance to make it back to the playoffs this year, and then who knows what could happen from there.
Right. So Sean, I got to tell you,
with Ron Rivera.
Yeah. Well, right. Health is key. Yeah.
Yeah, so Brian is a very honest fan. He called me. We texted the day after Alex Smith got traded, and we got on the phone and talked about it. And he was saying, he's like, man, I'm so depressed that we're losing Alex, but you're going to love him. He's going to be great for you. So he's a pretty honest, and he's, he can cheer you up a little bit, especially if you get any type of ex-Chiefs players, that he'll definitely hype them up.
It was a fun, brief, fun period.
It was a try.
Right.
Hey man, he did something incredible for you guys that that was phenomenal. Like, he might dive and then he comes back and plays in the NFL for you guys. Right. That was incredible. I've still got an Alex Smith. The last two Chiefs jerseys I have, Tyrann Mathieu and Alex Smith, and I still wear them. I'll still wear them.
He's a Chief legend for life. He doesn't have that here. He was struggling before he got hurt, but absolutely, he should be a Chiefs legend for life, and good for him.
Yeah. So look, let's go into it. We know why you're here. You're here to talk about your team. We're facing them in Arrowhead this weekend. Washington travels to Kansas City for the second preseason game. Unfortunately, the first one, y'all came up short to the Bears, 19-14. But you had your starters play early, and they dominated, shut the Bears out, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously the backups came in, and those are the type of things that happen. What are you looking for coming into game two? How much do the starters play, if any? And, pointers, what are you thinking?
Usually by now I know who's playing and who's not, and I haven't heard that. I'm not on Twitter anymore, so I used to be much more on it with, like I say, more than half my Twitter follows were Chiefs guys who I would always just know stuff because I'd be on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter anymore. So I expect Mahomes to play a couple of drives, if that. What I'm looking for is him to throw to our new guy. I think Juju's hurt, so I would like to see, our young guys like Sky Moore get some touches. I'd like to see CEH make some plays. Now, Andy Reid doesn't tip his hand with a lot of plays that'll get guys in the open because he saves those for the regular season, even later on in the regular season. But would like to see some of those kind of line it up, not power eye, but, pro formation, fullback, and let's see if we can, run the ball with CEH a little bit, or at least find some ways to use him productively. So getting them some touches without, Travis Kelce being a bailout for him, because who wouldn't use Travis Kelce as a bailout? But I'd like to see guys who I don't know get the ball and do things with it. And then from a defensive standpoint, just kind of like what we did, shut out and, have our secondary make some plays and have them communicating and seeing those guys talking on the field quite a bit, especially since so many of them are new.
Yeah, I like that. And when you look at us, like you said, you have positive things for us. Wentz is probably not going to start that much. But when you come into this game, what are some things like you want to work on when you look at how we're looking from our first game?
Well, I mean, you guys have two really good wide receivers that are going to really challenge our secondary. So what we can do with, how do we look versus man with them? How do we look, when we run, cover 3, cover 4 against those guys? Where are our soft spots? Where are we able to cover? I mean, McLaurin and Curtis Samuel, you guys have as well. So those guys can make plays anywhere from the field. So we want to see if we can stop those guys, marginally slow them down. And Wentz is, he's been in the league forever at this point. Now I'm getting old to say that because what's he been there? 10 years, almost 10 years, 9 years, something like that. So
we might only be at like 5 or 6.
Do what?
I think he came in 2016, 2017?
I thought it was 2013.
No, he's younger than that. Yeah.
I get redheads,
Yeah.
But he's been there for a while, so he'll make some good decisions, and it'll be a good test for our team because I think our last one was the Bears. So a lot of new players.
You're not getting tested at all together.
So they're figuring them. So they got a new coach. I think we have somebody who knows what they're doing, and just kind of look what we're going to do against a competent offense.
Yeah. I actually think we're going to see the starters play a decent amount this game. I think we might see them go well into the second quarter because I don't think they're going to play in the third quarter or the third preseason game. So I think it's maybe a chance to really see. And just like you mentioned, we have some weapons on offense that if you want to see how your secondary does, we got some guys who can stretch that secondary. Yeah. We're really hyped about a rookie wide receiver, Jahan Dotson, our first round pick. He's making some plays that they're looking for. I'm really excited to see your offense versus our defense, not because we can compete. I think our defense needs to see what it's like to play against a professional offense, against a professional quarterback. We did not look good last week against Baker Mayfield, and now we get to go up against Patrick Mahomes. I think that's good for us to get that type of competition, out there and kind of see what it's like to have somebody. What if we lost? What if we lost?
I think we lost him.
What if the internet cut out or something? I'll let him know join back when he can.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said internet dropped.
Okay.
So I'm also I really do want to kind of see how does our defense play against them, knowing that they're not going to be exotic out there and do a whole lot, but I think it'd be a good test for us. I'm going to say this a repeat from last week. I want to see a play from Jamin Davis. If Ab's saying he's seeing him on the field looking lost, that's concerning. That's scary. We can't have that. So I'd love to see him play, make something so we can be like, all right, that's good. We got something there. I also want to see how does Gibson come back in this game?
Yes.
But you talked about earlier that is it in his head? Is he going to be able to run hard and be safe out there and all that? So I do want to see that. And then lastly, I'm looking at our tight ends. I think, we featured them a lot last week. I want to see more. I know Cole Turner won't be playing. I think John Bates may be back, but I want to see if we're able to get something out of that.
Yeah. I agree. And you were looking at, D line and defense against that offense. I want to look at our secondary.
Yeah.
You talked about Kendall Fuller, they got him. They threw a touchdown on him. And we've been hearing all this great stuff. And now you go up against another opponent and we see what really is happening. So I want to see him. And no, they don't have Tyreek, but you still have Juju, who's a quality receiver. He comes in there. I'm really looking at Sky Moore out of Western Michigan. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about him. So I want to see what he contributes and how he looks against our defense. And then on the flip side, Brian Robinson, like you talked about Gibson, and maybe I need to be calmer. I need to maybe give him a benefit of the doubt. But as a running back, I have no sympathy for other running backs. Sure. You know what I mean? So in my mind, welcome back.
Welcome back.
That's right. That's just like your offense is going to drop this week. I had to talk something. No, but I'm looking. I was looking for your offense. He's talking about the D line and how they're looking up against your kind of professional offense. I want to see how our secondary looks. You don't have Tyreek, but you still have Juju, who's quality. You still have.
I don't think he's going to play this. I think he's hurt, so I think they're going to hold him out this week.
Okay. Well, but Sky Moore, another guy that you mentioned, you know what I mean? And I've been hearing a lot of good things about him as well. So I want to see how we look because the guy that you talked about, Kendall Fuller, he has been just showing up. At one point in training camp, he had like 4 straight days with a pick. And then we see what happens. Sam Darnold throws a TD on him, on the second drive of the game. So I really want to see how they do. And then I want to see our running game with Brian Robinson, the rookie, against y'all's defense, y'all's D-line, and y'all's front seven. Because I really want to see was it a fluke last week? Because Carolina's defense at one point was ranked, the top defense in the league beginning last year. So, but I want to see what we look against a team. You guys are perennial playoffs. You talk about last 4 AFC championships. So you know what it takes to win and that type of thing. I want to see how we look against y'all on that. And obviously, I'm a homer. You guys, you're Mizzou. We'll talk about Maryland and South Carolina. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm a Tar Heel through and through. So I want to see my guy Sam Howell. We all saw what he did at the end of last game, but I'm not naive to say, he was against 2s and 3s. Okay. He was doing this stuff in college, so it's not any different in my opinion, but still you have to show up. I've seen people that can do it and have not shown up to do it. So you have to show up. I want to see what he does against another different competition and continue to go and maybe give him a longer period of time to get in there if at all possible. So I'm eager to see just both sides of the ball, and how we play out, and then the kicking game, because Joey Slide missed the daggone extra point, and we have terrible luck with kickers. So
yes,
that's one thing I think Andy Reid's been really good at. I mean, there's been guys where like we've had and like, why are we getting rid of this guy to get this other guy? Who's this other? Oh, he's really good. Okay, good job. Well, we've I mean, it's always fun. It's always good to see your team's old kicker still in the league somewhere, and you have other guys. That wasn't always the case. We've had our troubles with that in the past too. So it's good to see we've got some guys we can count on.
Yeah. Harrison Butker made his debut in the NFL against us, and I think he kicked the game-winning field goal to beat us. And I remember being like, "Well, who's this guy? I mean, some rookie."
We were like, "Who is butt kicker? What's
right?
This?
Exactly, yeah." And then he blasted it, and he's been a stud ever since. You're just like, man, there they go again.
Yeah, last year against the Chargers, he had to kick 3 game-winning field goals because one was like the timeout, there was like a penalty, so like no time on the clock. He had to kick 3 like 50-some-odd yarders in a row, and he made all 3 of them.
Drilled them all.
Yeah, we are thrilled with that.
Now, listen, I want you to know, if it comes down to a field goal game with the Chargers, you don't have to worry. They have Dustin Hopkins.
That's right.
He's awful. He's a 50-50 kicker.
Yeah.
50% of the time he'll hit.
Staley goes for it on 4th all the time anymore, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, he definitely going to continue that because Dustin, and we gave him the benefit of the doubt. We gave him every single chance in the world, and still didn't. And then ended up cutting him for a guy named Blewett. So we just don't know what we're doing at kicker right now.
I'm just so glad we're playing you guys in the preseason when the game doesn't matter. I'm just say that.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Last year when we played, we were like, oh no.
Oh, here we go. Did we played like Aaron Rodgers and then you guys, or was it like
something like that?
It was like back to back. It was like,
you should get a comp pick for that.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
They gave us the 30-second worst schedule, the worst schedule in the league this year. So I think that's
that's
it.
Love it. That's what Daniel Snyder gets you, right?
Right.
God, can we just? All right, we got to go.
You can make us depressed.
Yo, real quick before we let you go, let's go ahead and do it. Before we go, we always do a kind of little prediction, if you will. Okay. I know it's preseason, so it's super hard to really gauge who's going to be in and what's the score. What do you think the score is going to be? You guys win, lose. What is your stand?
Chiefs fans, I'll stay homer on this one. I'll say 23-19 Chiefs.
Ooh.
Some weird preseason type score,
Right. I'm going 24-23. My guy Sam Howell comes in the clutch again. 2 weeks in a row, baby. Let's go Washington.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I'm looking to see the Sam Howell versus Chad Henne battle here, and I think I'm just gonna go with Sam Howell because I think he's gonna want it more. I think there's more motivation for him to play better. So
you don't think Henny's playing for a spot?
I don't think so. I think he's solidified it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 19-15 Washington.
That's a good preseason score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Weird numbers.
A couple safeties in there or something.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, yo, I absolutely appreciate you coming on here and talking Chiefs with
Yes.
us.
You did
So good
awesome.
to get that perspective. You knocked it out of the park, man. Like you
Appreciate
said,
it.
you know, if it was last year or you knew all this, you were killing it today.
Yeah.
So anytime you want to come on, definitely come on here, talk football with us. We'll chop it up because you came correct, man. Appreciate
Awesome,
you.
guys.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, B. So
Enjoy the family. Is that you're visiting family in Louisville?
Yeah,
right?
I'm at the in-laws right now.
That's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, that's
Awesome.
what's up. Well, look, we appreciate them letting you have a couple minutes with us so you can talk this game. So I know how that is. But yo, we appreciate you, man. Hey, till next time, man.
All right,
Good
see
luck
y'all.
this weekend.
Bye, Brian.
Yeah, buddy. So hey, that was amazing. I love it. I'm excited, man. I'm very excited to see this game, especially because he broke it down, man. He was sitting here saying everything from wide receivers, D line,
Yeah, he
secondary,
knew the roster
whole nine.
pretty well.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I like that.
I'm a
Oh, I
little
really-
more excited about this one than I was the first one.
Yeah.
Now, after they take out the starters early, I'll lose that excitement, but I'm gonna have to record it because at 6:00 ish we go upstairs for bath time, and that's gonna be Sam Howell time. So I can't.
Oh yeah.
I might have my phone off because if you just keep buzzing me with,
Yep.
I'll be like, oh no,
Update.
oh no,
Update. Touchdown. Completion. Yes. Let's get it. Yo. So hey, this week, Saturday at
4.
4:00, the 4:00 game. We will be going to Arrowhead. Before that, we're getting there earlier, but we will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see who starts. We'll see who plays. Hey, we will see what is going on. Shout out to my people. I got a friend of mine said, one of my homies said 15-7 Washington.
Okay.
I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take it. So, yo, shout out to all you that are watching us. We so appreciate it. Shout out to all the guests that were on the show. Will, we had upwards to like 7-8 people watching at one point and
Excellent.
consistently watching through the show. That I love that.
Makes it fun.
Yeah, we're so glad we were able to join you on your Wednesday night hump day, doing your thing. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Mm-mm.
You good? I do want to say I gotta real quick. I didn't discuss this with you, but I want to put this in here. Ladies and gentlemen, recently, look, we don't have a last word or anything like that, but what I will say is this: cherish the people that you are close to, cherish to your friends, and reach out to people. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't know or if you haven't talked to them in a while, one of my very, very, very close friends went home to be with the Lord. Marcus Holmes passed away last week. My family and his family knew each other ever since we moved to Herndon. Our dads are a lot alike. Our moms are very close. So naturally, Marcus and I were close right out the back. He played football, was 2 years ahead of us, but he was always real quiet and reserved.
Yes.
I was the praying guy. So him and I, naturally, we just kind of gravitated towards each other, and it was just real simple. Like, I didn't like it, kind of this feeling I had with you where I don't have to be on. I can just be this, and it's still the same rapport and everything. The first year that they had Washington, the training camp and the whole fan experience in Ashburn, we were there. Okay. That first year, it was the summer of our senior year. Him and I went, and we were we were like the parking crew and part of the experience and all that. And it was a crazy, it was so exciting. It was just being there. We both had a love for the game. A couple of years went by, seeing him here and there. Just, what's up? What's going on? I was going through life takes control, and then hits me up, and he's like, just out of the blue, around this time of the year, maybe even a little bit before, he's like, you ever thought about coaching? And I didn't think anything of it. At this point, I'm just so upset that I'm not playing football anymore. And I was like, I didn't even think anything about it. He's like, I coach 125-pound little league team from Chantilly. We're the C team. We're not the A or the B. Like, we're essentially would be the third stringers. Mm-hmm. And, we just do a little something, and, we coach. I mean, I'm looking for a couple other coaches. And I was like, are you kidding me? Absolutely. For the next 6 years, I coached by his side. I was his offensive coordinator. I was play calling. I mean, notepads and the whole nine. All right, this is what we're going to do. All right, here we go. You go this way, you go that. One of the guys that I coached ended up becoming one of those student, after you graduate, you're like not a coach, you're a student.
Like a grad student?
Grad assistant, like a coach, but on the side, like, it's one of the students that just helps out. And he was one of those guys we used to call Mr. ESPN because he used to know the play, and he'd come back to the sideline, be like, you're an O lineman. You're supposed to be just dumb and raw. And he would be like, no, run this play. They're doing this. Like, oh, snap, it worked. So 4 years we did this. 6 years. 6 years we did this. And it was week in and week out. Got as close as, runner-up to the championship. We lost in the very end. And we got as far away as not winning but 1 or 2 games. But it was fun. And that moment, that was the start of this. Because at that point, I was not in a place where I wanted to do anything. I was just beaten down by a lot of things in life. And I just didn't feel happy. And when I went back to coaching, there was a part of me that came back. And yes, albeit Chantilly, I'm a Hornet. We all know. Yeah. And a lot of people still give me a hard time. Tony Wilson, shout out to him. He always gives me a hard time. Remember that time you wore purple? Yes. All right. I did for 6 years. I'm not afraid of it.
Right.
But it was one of those things, man, that it really brought me together. And I didn't realize until doing shows like this, where you're having to manage a lot of different personalities and talent and this and that you start respecting. When he was coaching, he had to take care of the players, the parents, us, the whole nine. And beyond all that, he brought me in. He brought me in the fold, and he gave me a chance to do what I love, and it absolutely changed my life. I'm all cried out. So you ain't going to get that. Like, it's just not right, man.
Right. Yeah.
It's just,
no, I'm really sorry that you're going to. I didn't realize you guys had become that close. I didn't know the family, but I knew Marcus from playing youth baseball. We were on the same team. We were both pitchers. And then in Cub Scouts, his dad was a leader of Cub Scouts. And so, again, he was older, but I knew the family. You saw the family. They're good people. Yep. And so you just feel awful, not, for the family and what they're going through. And I feel awful for you finding out how close you guys were. I'm really sorry. It's tragic. It's really sad.
It's just, you just don't expect it.
No.
And it's one of those situations where, like, I had hit him up just like a month ago. And I was like, man, I got to get you out of here, man.
Yeah.
And he said to me, man, I'm not really in front of the camera. And I said, don't worry about that.
Yeah. I can see that. He's a quiet one.
It's gone too soon, man.
Yeah.
It's gone far too soon. So, man, rest in peace, bro. It's not right. But we will take care of the family. We will take care of everybody down here. It's just gone too soon. But ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to do this before the show because I already knew it.
Right.
As long as I have this platform, I will always shout out the people that are closest to me. I will always share and just let people know you made a difference in my life. And I never got to tell you that.
You told him that by showing up. As important as he was, you talk about how him helping you, like you showed up every Saturday to help him. Like you said, you started off with C team level players and you didn't care. It was about teaching. It was about coaching the kids. It was about being together. So you showed, he knew your appreciation because you joined him.
I got to tell you, say one thing, and then we're going. I got to talk about one play because I got to end this on a positive note. The last season we coached, we we were okay. We were terrible in the beginning, and we really turned it around. Won a lot of close games in the end, and we had a game in the snow. And we we're playing Braddock Road, BRYC, the team I played for in Little League, and we played them in the snow, and we weren't really expecting to do much, and we played great. And the snow was an equalizer because they were really fast, but they weren't able to run as well, and we did it, and we were running with them and everything. And Marcus looked at me and he said, "Yo, the last drive, we had a chance." He said, "Draw it up." He said, "Let's go." We're running it. Last play. Had a shot at the goal line, and I said, we called a timeout, and he gave it right to me. He said, "Go ahead." And I sat there and I said, "All right, this is what we're gonna do." Had a split end out here. I had a tight end, a wide receiver, and a tight end right here. Had the split end come in motion. Quarterback get the snap, fake the jet sweep. The tight end go to the flat. The receiver come back, okay? Quarterback gets it. The defender crashes, so the quarterback pulls it out and runs over, looks over, lobs it back of the end zone. 8th grader catches it. Or no, he was a 7th grader. Everybody was 8th graders. He was the youngest kid on there. He was a 7th grader. Catches it in the end zone, throws, and we're losing our minds. We're like, oh my God. Oh. So, and you can see the video. He comes off the sidelines, and I take him, and I'm like, let's go. After that play, I ran over and I'm hyped, and the Marcus comes over me and we just let's go. And it was just a magical day. Like there was no sign of snow earlier, and it snowed. Yeah. And we have a picture of us, and we're all in the snow. Devu was there, me, I think Joey Harris, a bunch of us. We were all there in the snow, shivering. The kids are all jumping around, and it came down to that play, and he entrusted me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even trust myself at that time. And he said, "You got this." Drew it up in the dirt, old school. You do this, you do that, you go that way. This is what it is. It worked. It didn't work to perfection. Like if I was to break it down and film something, be like, "Oh, you didn't do the right thing." Uh-huh. But in the moment, everything was so perfect. And that's just the best memory I could have. That's the best memory I could have, to just pay homage to it, man, because you don't understand what you can instill in people. Somebody had a conversation with me about that today. We got to keep doing this. You and I, we got to continue to do this because we don't understand. People have been staying watching this whole thing. And we've been almost 2 hours. Right. What we're doing makes a difference. Mm-hmm. And as long as we're doing something that makes a difference, we're going to continue to do it. And as long as y'all continue to listen, well, we appreciate that. Absolutely. We absolutely appreciate that. So I'm going to sit there and say, my people, everybody that's listening, you are loved. We love you. My guy, Will, I am not too proud to say, brother, I love you. And I appreciate you. You don't have to do this. You got 2 kids at home that are fighting sleep. You got a wife that needs her time. But you give me every Wednesday to talk football. And sometimes it's not positive. Right, we went through a 5-week stretch a year ago where it's like, just stop. We're just not even going to talk anymore. Yeah. But we got it. We got to keep doing this because it makes a difference. It blesses me, and it blesses the people that are listening to it. So that's it. I'm done. No more tears. I'm out of here. Washington Football Weekly is here this Saturday coming up. We will definitely be going to Arrowhead, potentially getting the W. And next week, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest for you from our sister city up north in Baltimore. Mr. Nathan Snell, host of Big Nate Sports Talk podcast, will be joining the show. And we will actually be going to the game and trying to see if we give a little live from the game or something like that. Woo! I'm excited. I'm excited to get that W and see, and end the Ravens, 20 some odd victories in the preseason?
Streak ends.
Yo, what's your favorite thing to say, Nate? Guarantee. You heard it here first, baby. Let's go. But look, we got to go, man. I am your boy, Sean Spencer. My guy over here, Mr. Will Kramer. Always good, my friend. We appreciate all of you that have sat here and taken the time to watch us. Definitely join us next week. Enjoy football, ladies and gentlemen. Games tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. It's back.
Yes.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, people. Talk to you later.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New man looks so fine. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.